Good morning, geography students. We have just a few slides left to finish up this chapter. We talked yesterday about Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, forget which other ones, Sierra Leone, Liberia. Today we're going to finish up the last three. We're going to talk about Gambia, Cape Verde, and Senegal, okay? So let's start with Gambia. Gambia is the smallest country in Africa. It's only 20 miles wide and about 200 miles long, but it basically follows the Gambia River. It's just one separate country, and it's completely enclosed by Senegal. If you've looked at the map very much, which you should have by now if you're going to be doing well on your test, you'll notice Gambia is completely surrounded, except for the side that faces the Atlantic Ocean, by the country of Senegal. So let's look at Gambia. It is Africa's, as I said, smallest nation. It became a major slave center under the slave trade, until the slave trade to the west was abolished in 1807, and then that kind of fell apart, and it had to become a colony in its own right without that industry. It was colonized finally by Great Britain and received their independence from them in 1970. Interesting fact about Gambia is 30% of the gross domestic product of the country is from agriculture. It's a good chunk, but it's not huge. But that 30% requires 70% of the labor force to get that food made and harvested. So that's a big disparity. 75% of the people do work in agriculture, but as I said, it only brings in about 30% of the country's GDP. They do have relative religious freedom, although they have a Muslim majority in the country, with 89% of the population being Muslim. Okay. So that's Gambia. Very, very small country. It is basically the size of the state of Delaware twice. So very, very small. Okay, Cape Verde. Cape Verde is a group of islands. There are 10 large islands and 5 islets, very, very small. 9 of those main islands are inhabited and 1 is not. One is actually a still active volcano that erupted as recently as, I think it was 1995. They gained their independence from Portugal. No, let me go back. Going too fast. And since they gained their independence from Portugal, Portuguese is the main language of the country. Creole is spoken in most homes, but Portuguese is the language of business and in schools. So that gives us a big problem in schools. If you're speaking Creole in the house, but you have to know Portuguese in the schools, then most kids are really struggling in school because they don't know enough Portuguese. Cape Verde has remained relatively peaceful. They're trying to build up their tourism industry because apparently it is a very beautiful place, as you can see from these pictures. They are trying to strengthen their economy and develop tourism, develop a market economy more like capitalism, fisheries. More Cape Verdeans is what they call their people, okay? Like we call ourselves Americans. But Cape Verdeanos, I believe is how they say it, Cape Verdeanos, more of them live outside of the country than live in the country. And that's basically because they've had to struggle to make a living, so they've left. The islands have very few natural resources and they struggle to produce crops. With few products to export, there is very little money with which to import food. So in the last half of the 20th century, many people have suffered from starvation, while others have just left. They've moved out of the country. And the country relies heavily on foreign aid, much of which comes from Cape Verdeans who have left the country and send money home. I believe 90% of their food in Cape Verde has to be imported. 90%. That's a lot of food to import. All right, Senegal is the last country that we're going to look at. It is the westernmost point of Africa, of the mainland of Africa. Many of the people of Senegal are nomadic herders, meaning they're moving across the country herding cattle, cattle, sheep, and goats in the north, and then they go raise food crops in the south, and then they go back north for the cattle. The capital is Dakar, and as I said, it is the westernmost point of Africa. Beautiful. They gained their independence from France in 1960, as many of these countries of Western Africa have. The government here, though, experimented with socialism for about 2 decades before finally giving up on that and trying to have more freedom for the people, and including religious freedom. The populations of these countries are very young. Like, we're talking 30 to 40% or more of the population is under the age of 15, which produces some problems. Particularly in Senegal, education is free up until the age of 16, but their literacy rate in Senegal is only 49.7%. Now, why such a low literacy rate? Well, because they can't keep up with the number of students that they have in school. They don't have enough teachers to teach and facilities to teach all of the students. And that does it. That is all we have. Senegal is 91% Muslim. So again, they're struggling with those religious freedoms and with socialism and trying to turn over industry to become private industry and that kind of thing. But that is all I have on Central and Western Africa. Note that here at the end of your PowerPoint, which is posted on our class website, you have maps. Both of these you need to know. And then you have people, places, and things to know, and you have all of these terms. These are great for reviewing. I will continue to help you review. Tomorrow we will review, and so tomorrow's Thursday, right? So tomorrow we'll review. Friday we have our Zoom meeting with the Yowleys, and then Monday your test will go live. So be practicing your map and practicing your terms. And I will get you up some more Quizlet terms and stuff like that for you to also be practicing with. So that's all I've got for today. I hope you have a wonderful day.